Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video we are going to fly my newly owned Black Square Commander 114 from Sedona to Grand Canyon National Park. It's going to be a very scenic 1 hour flight and we're going to have a lot of fun. It is a fully loaded flight. Flight plan is all filed in to SimBrief. We have Beyond UTC going, we have Atmos going, we have Reshade going. The PC is all hot and fully decked up. Everything is good to go, and we are going to also have my iPad in front of us, so we have a very fancy fully loaded flight today. I will be going through the checklist on my iPad. If you want to follow along, it will be the exact checklist that we have in the manuals of the Black Square Commander 114, and also in the EFB you can find the same checklist in an interactive form as well. By the way, if you like these kind of videos, if you like this kind of flight sim content, please do not forget to leave a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel more than you think, and more than anything else it helps with my motivation to create these videos, because I really don't make anything from this channel. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get going. Okay, so in the walk around mode now, we will do a few things here in the walk around mode. Let's remove the engine covers that we have, and while we are here, let's also remove the wheel chokes. You can also test the stall warning. Apparently we don't have the batteries on, so that won't be tested. But yeah, you can make sure that there is no debris here. Come in here, remove the pitot cover, don't forget that for sure. Look at all that detail and grime and dust and whatnot. You can also move the control surfaces, but for that you have to make sure that you don't have your control lock on, for which we are going to go in and we are going to remove the control lock, and now we should be able to move the control surfaces reliably. So let's go ahead and do that real quick as well. Make sure everything is free and correct. There we go. Looks good, and the flaps should not move, which they are not moving, so that's fine as well. By the way, I forgot to mention in my review video that there is also a nice little courtesy light here. You cannot see it particularly well right now since it's daytime, but it's pretty neat. You can have a light on this foot stand to climb into the cockpit. The door is closed here. You don't need to open it and check. Let's go ahead and go to the back. We don't have a tie down at the back, so that's great. We're not going to mess with the control surfaces here. Everything is good. Ideally, you would also want to check fuel at this time, but I know we have enough fuel because we just filled it in before the flight. You can also mess around with the prop, although I wouldn't advise doing that but you can do that. It'd be really nice if Black Square could add oil quality check, oil quantity check and stuff like that as well, which does not, that functionality does not exist right now. Anyway, with that real quick walk around out of the way, everything looks good to me here. We are going to get in the airplane and get going. Okay, so here we are in the beautiful cockpit of the Commander 114. We will open up our EFB and make sure that our airplane is well situated for our flight. So according to the SimBrief flight plan, we are going to need roughly 230 gallons of fuel. So I would put in maybe, let's just go 151 on each side. So that's good enough. And we have a co-pilot who's 170 pounds. I'm 210 pounds of pure muscle. Let's make sure that the engine condition is good. Everything looks good here, and cabin temperatures are 32, so kind of warm, but totally tolerable. And I'm going to leave the door open for now, just so that we don't heat up the cabin too much. In terms of options, we have everything that we need here in terms of avionics, so I think that is good as well. And we can pretty much move on to the before start checklist here. Alright, so on to the before start checklist. Doors still open. Pre-flight inspection is complete. Control locks are removed. Seat belts, we'll assume that we have fastened the seat belts. Cabin doors are latched. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so that's latched, and then the other one is latched as well. So we are good there. Let's open up this window so that we again don't get baked in here. Parking brake is set. There's the parking brake. Avionics master is off. That's the avionics master switch, and that's off. In terms of circuit breakers, I don't see any circuit breakers popped out. So that's great. Everything looks good there. Electrical switches are all set to off position. Alternate static air is set to normal. Landing gear lever is down, and my physical landing gear lever on the hardware is also down. So that's verified. Alternate air push off. That's good to go as well. And then oxygen pressure is going to be somewhere in the 1550 to 1850. So if you look up, you will see that we have enough oxygen there, so no problem with that as well. Elevator trim is set to neutral, and rudder trim is set to neutral as well, so that's good. Emergency gear lever, which is the red lever right here, that's in good position. That's up, so that's good. Throttle is fully closed. Propeller is high RPM, and mixture goes to full rich. Cowl flaps are already open, so that's good. Standby alternator, which is the second one, I believe that's off. Air conditioner is also off. CO detector, we can test that right here. Everything is good, looking good. Fuel selector is set to both by default here, so that's good as well. We will start our anti-collision or beacon lights. Standby vacuum, push that to off, so that is off as well. And pitch trim is off. That's the white switch right here, that's off as well. Battery master on, so we'll turn that on as we go through the engine start checklist here. So let's go ahead and turn the battery master here, and 11 volts minimum on the voltmeter. You can see here it's reading well around 13 volts, so that is great. And fuel quantities, we are seeing that the left and the right tank are both pretty much filled up, so we should be good for today's flight. Our EDM 800 is, I would say, warming up, so that's great. And you can see 12.8 volts on the battery there as well. So before start checklist is complete, next we will go through the cold engine start so that you guys can hear how good the sounds are for this airplane. Okay, on to the engine start checklist, and it is going to be a cold start. We have not heated up the engine, so it's going to be fun to listen to how the cold start sounds are modeled. I will keep the engines page on so that you can see it live, how things are working out in the engine. But yeah, let's run through the checklist. Mixture full rich, it is. Prop high RPM. Throttle will go to full open, and after that we would turn on the fuel pump for about 2 to 3 seconds. Observe that the fuel flow goes up more than 5 gallons per hour, and then turn the fuel pump off. So there is an issue with the fuel flow on the turbo normalized version specifically, which is the one we are flying right now. So ignore that, but ideally the fuel flow should have gone up here when you turn on the fuel pump with the throttle fully open and mixture full rich. So that's just a bug that will need to be fixed by Black Square or by Nick. So anyway, I think we have primed the engine enough. As you can see, there's blue color fuel here, which is what shows that the engine is primed. Now fuel pumps are off. Our fuel pump is off, and we will push the throttle up, open it by a 1/4 inch, and we'll scream clear prop. Okay, let's get the keys in. Okay, we have a good start. I think we are going to warm it up at maybe 1200 rpm, 1100 rpm, and as you can see, the oil pressure is good. Cylinder head temperatures will come up and oil temperature will also rise as we go. Alright, let's go ahead and put our headphones on so that we can hear our radios and whatnot as we turn them on. Okay. Alright, so engine start checklist is done. Let's go ahead and go through the after start checklist here. So oil pressure is good in the green. Alternator on. So alternator is on. It's the second switch here, so we already turned that on. Voltmeter 13 to 14 volt, 13 to 16 volts, that is good. Engine instruments rechecked, everything looks good, and we can bring back the RPM now to maybe something around 900. It is advised to keep the RPM a little bit higher than completely closed on throttle, which will be bringing in the risk of just stalling the engine. And that's what I know, but correct me if I'm wrong here. Lights as required, so we will be turning on the nav lights. We will turn on, yeah, I think for now we can just turn on the nav lights. We have avionics. We can turn the avionics on now so that our GTN 750 and 650 would come alive. Okay, 750 and 650 are both alive. They are pretty much similar units, but I like having this kind of setup, the modern avionics setup, along with all the other vintage stuff that I have here on this airplane, because I am a modern pilot. Anyway, let's go ahead and see if there's anything else in the checklist. So we will have storm scope. Storm scope is on already. Altimeter. So let's go ahead and listen to the ATIS here. I do not see any ATIS at SEZ, so we are just going to go ahead and tune our altimeter to whatever the field elevation is. And I see, oh, there you go, I have the altimeter actually, 30.18. So we are going to tune it to 30.18. So let's go ahead and do that. There you go. So our field elevation is somewhere around that 4,800. So that's verified and it looks good. Okay, altimeter directional gyro. We would set that to our magnetic heading. So that is good. Air conditioning as desired. I think our cabin temps are, oh, okay. So definitely need to turn on air conditioning here. Let's get the fans to high, and let's also change this to degrees Celsius, because that's what my mind is calibrated to. So anyway, you will see that we have instantly started cooling the cabin. I have also opened the cabin vents here. Don't need to since the AC is on, but we'll just let some airflow going, and we should quickly see this drop to comfortable levels. And we are ready for our clearance here. Okay, I like being in this view when we are asking for clearance, just so that I can quickly set up my flight plan as I get instructions from the ATC. We're going to be talking to Albuquerque Center today to request for our IFR clearance here. So let's go ahead and do that. Albuquerque Center, this is Commander 114 November 764 Lima Mike at Sedona, requesting IFR to Grand Canyon National Park as filed.
November 764 Lima Mike, Albuquerque Center, cleared to Grand Canyon National Park Airport. Radar vectors flag staffed and is filed. Maintain 9,000 feet. Expect 10,000 10 minutes after departure. Departure with me. Squawk 3546.
Okay, clear to Grand Canyon National Park Airport. Radar vectors to Flagstaff and then as filed. Maintain 9,000 feet. Expect 10,000 feet 10 minutes after departure. Departure will be with you and squawk 3546 for November 764 Lima Mike.
November 764 Lima Mike, read back correct. Start or taxi at pilot's discretion. Hold for
Flight start or taxi at pilot's discretion. Hold for release and we'll report when holding short runway 21 for November 764 Lima Mike. We have clearance here, and what we are going to do now is plan out the flight on the GTN 750. So I'm going to show you real quick how to plan out the flight. So our first waypoint here is going to be Flagstaff, so that'll be easy. We can just put in FLG here, Flagstaff, that's the VOR that we're going to first. The second waypoint is going to be KACEE, so you would just add the waypoint KACEE. There you go, so that's good. Just verify that the distance looks realistic. You're not selecting a point that's somewhere completely random in the world. And then the next one is going to be BISOP, Southwest USA. Again, distance looks good here. The last waypoint of our flight plan is going to be CARMS. Okay, the distance looks good there as well. And the next one is going to be the KGCN, so that's the Grand Canyon National Park Airport where we're going to. Nice short route, and that's how you plan it. We will also plan for the approach and stuff as we get closer to it. So that is done, and the next thing that the ATC told us is that our altitude clearance is going to be 9,000 feet, and we would set that in the autopilot programmer here. So that's the programmer for our STEC 60-2 autopilot. So I'll show you guys how to operate that. By the way, I'm going to leave this on GPS because we are going to follow the GPS path once we are cleared on our discretion on the flight plan. 9,000, so I would just change it to 9 here. This is basically in thousands, and then this is in hundreds. So if you were to go 9,500, then you would do something like this. So we are going 9,000 first, and then we are going 10,000. So we would then make it 1 here and then 0 here. So for now this is good, and then we would also set the altimeter, so that's 30.18, so we'll make it 30.2 just to make sure that the autopilot also knows what our pressure altitude is. So this is a very neat programmer actually, and I would say that our vertical speed is going to be somewhere around 1,000 feet per minute just to start with, but we'll see what kind of vertical speeds are we able to achieve at our VY speed, which is 91 knots for this airplane. We are actually pretty much ready to taxi. So the next thing we will do is go through the before taxi checklist and go to the run-up area and do a quick run-up. Okay, so before taxi we have closed the window now, just so that everything is silent and we can focus more on actual flying. Let's go ahead and adjust 900 RPM or so, get rid of the parking brake, and the next thing we'll do is just quickly check the brakes here. So brakes are both working and everything looks good. So let's go ahead and taxi on to runway 27 here. So we'll make a quick steep turn here and then keep going to the left here. Okay, here we are at the holding point. I think we can do our run up here. Should be totally fine. Parking brakes are set. Flight controls free and correct. Let's go ahead and check that real quick. Rudder full left, rudder full right. Okay, flight controls look free and correct. Flaps are up. We can do a full cycle of the flaps. Okay, flaps are working fine as well. Elevator trim neutral. It looks like we are at neutral on that. Rudder trim is neutral as well. Mixture full rich. Throttle up to 2000 RPM. Let's go ahead and do that. You could hear the turbo spool up. Alright, 2000 RPM, there it is. Let's go ahead and check magnetos.
Albuquerque Center, UPS 5908 Heavy, good afternoon, flight level 380.
UPS 5908 Heavy, Albuquerque Center, roger.
Okay, we saw roughly a 150 RPM drop, and the checklist says that 175 is acceptable. 175 RPM drop max, so I think we are good. Exercise propellers, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, gyro suction is green, so that looks good. That's right here. Throttle idle. Let's make sure the engine still stays alive at roughly 600 to 700 RPM, and it looks like it is going to stay alive, so we are good there. Let's lift it up back to that 800-900 RPM. Standby vacuum pull on. And we see that the gyro suction increased there, so that's good. Awesome. We'll turn on the pitch trim next. Electric trim exercise. Let's make sure that the trim is actually working, and looks like it is. I'm just using the knobs on my yoke here, and there's a bunch of things that you can do to make sure that the autopilot is working, but I think we have done that already. Fuel selectors still set to both. Windows and doors are closed and latched. We have checked that. Autopilot barometer is set. Departure altitude 9000, that is set as well. Vertical speed, we have set it to 1000 feet per minute, so that is good. Directional gyro, let's make sure that we have it all calibrated again. 21 towards the south, and it's okay, roughly like half a notch here, so that is good to go. Takeoff heading set. Let's go ahead and set our takeoff heading as well with my Bravo throttle quadrant. Panel lights dim for takeoff, we do not need to. We'll turn on the landing lights, we'll turn on the strobe lights. We'll go ahead and turn the fuel pump on. Mixture full rich. Flaps 10 degrees. I don't think we need flaps, so we'll be good. We will turn off the air conditioner just for now. Also turn off the alternator, and then we'll turn it back on when we are up in the air. Transponder is already set to alt mode, so that is good. Prop RPM, we will make sure that it goes to 2700. Engine instruments, we'll check that as we line up, and landing gear flaps, we'll not need to do that, and then autopilot. So that's our takeoff checklist. So we'll keep going and review the climb checklist as well here. So airspeed is going to be 91 knots, fully open throttle. Prop will be 2700 RPM. Air conditioning off while climbing. Oxygen as required. We'll not require oxygen because we are only going up to 11,000 feet max today. We're not going beyond 12,000 feet, and we'll keep monitoring the engine performance. Normal climb is going to be somewhere around 100 to 120 knots. Throttle 25-inch Mercury. Propeller 25 RPM, 2500 RPM. Mixture max. Cowl flaps as required. Air conditioning as desired. Okay, so I think that is a good enough briefing for now. I just like to brief the climb as well, just so that in the busy times we have already read through what we're going to do and stuff like that. Albuquerque Center, this is November 764 Lima Mike at Sedona, holding short runway 21, ready to go.
November 764 Lima Mike, release for departure, clearance wood if not off by 2300 Zulu, if not off by 2300 Zulu, climb
Release for departure, clearance void if not off by 2300 Zulu. If not off by 2300 Zulu, contact no later than 2310 Zulu. Frequency change is approved for November 764 Lima Mike. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great flight.
Albuquerque Center, Allegiant 71 flight level 350.
I do want to use the full runway here.
Albuquerque Center.
We are fully lined up here. Just one last check, make sure everything looks good. Damn, the cabin is heating up quite well, so let's go ahead and get out of here so that we can turn on the AC. Everything looks good here. Altitude set, all of this is set. Okay, let's go guys. This is my third flight, I believe, in the Commander 114. I am having a lot of fun with this airplane. Let's go guys. No flaps needed. There's turbo kicking in. 2700 RPM. Everything looks good on the engine instruments, so that's great. And we will rotate at somewhere around 70 knots. There's 70 knots. And rotate. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, let's tap the brakes and we are out of the runway, so gear up. And we'll keep climbing at 91 knots here, which we are kind of nailing right now. And there's some mechanical turbulence right there, or I don't know, terrain turbulence, what do you call it? For now we are nailing our speeds. Let's keep the right rudder in, by the way. That's something that you will hear from your instructor a lot if you fly in real world. Okay, so I'm gonna enable heading mode here. We already have the heading set, so it should be taking us to the right heading. And I'll also enable VS mode. What it's gonna do is it is going to get us to the 1000 feet per minute climb rate here, because we have already set 10 on the vertical speed, which is the last entry here. Let me go back and show you guys real quick. So we have it set to 10, so that's 1000 feet per minute. It will climb us up until 9000 feet, and it'll be all based off of a QNH of 30.2, which our QNH was 30.118, I believe. You'll see that the storm scope is actually reporting some lightning. That's nothing but us flicking the switches around. It detects these 12 volt switches as lightning as well, so you can just clear it up and that'll go away. Okay, let's go ahead and announce on frequency. Let our co-pilot do the thing.
Lima Mike, leaving 6,500 feet for 9,000.
November 764 Lima Mike, Albuquerque Center. Good afternoon. Radar contact. Climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Altimeter 3016.
Okay, we are climbing at 10,000. I think we can go ahead and climb a little bit faster because our speed is actually increasing. And I think we can go ahead and also do our normal climb checklist. So throttle will be 25 inches. So let's go ahead and do that.
November 764 Lima Mike, Albuquerque Center.
25 inches. Propeller is going to go to 2500 RPM. So there's 2500 RPM. This is all to just make sure that we do not age our engine too fast. Cowl flaps as required. I think the temperatures are pretty decent. I don't think I want to close the cowl flaps here. Turn right heading 005 for November 764 Lima Mike. Okay, I did not listen to that instruction. So let's turn right heading 005. They are just putting us back on course. There we go, 005. Remember that we also reduced our manifold pressure here to 25, prop to 25, so the power is not as much as you had before. So just remember these things. Don't get complacent while you're using autopilot.
November 764 Lima Mike,
cleared direct Flagstaff, and we'll resume our own navigation for November 764 Lima Mike. Okay, how do you do direct to? So you just click on this and this menu will pop up. You can either go to flight plan, or right here it shows up as well. And then if you just hit activate, I guess you didn't need to even click on it. So yeah, activate, and then that should put you on the course for Flagstaff. But you will now have to also hit nav here, which now, since our source is set to GPS, it should follow the pink line to the T, and you can see if we are on the left or on the right of the pink line using this. So the more dots you have on the left side, that means the more you are on the left of this pink line, and the more dots you have on the right, that means you are on the right of the pink line. As soon as you get to the center, you will see that it turns green. Anyway, we are on course here. Everything looks good. Let's zoom out so that we can see a little bit further away here. And we have also hit 10,000 feet. So you will see that as we hit 10,000 feet, the mode changed from VS to Alt, because remember, we have already set up 10,000 feet here. So that is beautiful. You'll see that we are off by just a little bit, and that's the error that you get for not having the second digit on your QNH here. But that's totally fine. We can be within plus or minus 50 feet. Anyway, let's enjoy some scenery here, and then we'll get back and use the EDM 800 to tune our engine to the best fuel economy cruise setting. Okay, so let's run through the cruise checklist. We are encountering a little bit of turbulence here, but nothing crazy. Cowl flaps as required. I think we are fine on that. Throttle 15 to 24 inches of mercury. So I'm going to push us to 24. I think that's pretty good. And then the next thing is propeller will be somewhere between 2200 to 2700. I think we are in 2500, so that's good. We'll turn the fuel pump off, and landing lights will also go to the off position, and fuel selector is already set to both, so I think we're good there. Coming to the EDM 800, which is our engine data monitor 800. And how do you do the lean off peak mixture leaning to make sure that you have the best fuel economy during cruise? So mark that you have some fuel flow here. We are running about 15 gallons per hour. I think that's our fuel flow. Okay. How you do a lean off peak is you first click on this lean find button. So that will be lean ROP. You click this middle button here, and then you hit the lean off peak, which is shown by the L here. And then you start leaning your mixture. So as you start leaning your mixture, you will see that the bars will come down. So what you're looking for is you want to get on the other side of the peak EGT. So you want all the cylinders to get to the peak EGTs, and you want to get to the left of that. I'll try to leave a diagram on the screen here while we are doing this. So you keep leaning until all the cylinders have leaned enough to hit the peak EGT. Okay, and that's what we are targeting here. All the cylinders need to hit the peak EGT because we want to get on the left side of the curve that I'm showing here. And there you go, it shows rich est EST now. So what this negative number is showing is how far you are from that lean of peak. So now I have to make it a little bit rich because I'm going a little bit too far from the point that I want to be at, and I want to be as close to 0 as possible. I've got it pretty much at 0, somewhere around 1. So I think I have achieved my lean of peak setting here, and you will see that our fuel flow has dropped from 15 gallons per hour to now somewhere around 11.5, 11.4. It shows up here as well. If you want to do a rich of peak, then you hit lean find and you will see lean R on there. And again, you just keep leaning the mixture until one of the cylinders hit the peak EGT, and then you rich the mixture so that you're still staying on the richer side of the cylinder, so of the EGT peak. So I hope that the diagram that I have left on the screen helped you understand what lean of peak and rich of peak is overall, and how do you decide what to use if you're. So we're still doing great at 10,000 feet here. Okay, so in terms of our descent, we are going to be landing on runway 03 because apparently that's the one that's active right now at Grand Canyon. When we left, it was actually runway 21. So what we are going to do is I have already programmed ILS runway 03 for KGCN, and I know that we have to be at 8,200 feet at Happily. So what we'll do is I think we'll start descending at somewhere around BISOP, that's the Bravo, India, Sierra, Oscar and Papa, because after that we have roughly 14.6 miles to deal with the full descent, which I think is more than enough to descend from 10,000 to 8,200, and if we get there earlier, that's totally fine as well. We'll just stay at 8,200 until we hit Happily. And in terms of frequencies, let's talk about that real quick. So we'll go to airport info here, and if you say view charts, we should be able to view the approach charts here, and there we go. That's ILS runway 03. Alright, so what we're going to do is we will already plan in our GCN ILS, which I have put in here 108.9. we'll flick it to active. The only thing that we will have to do in order to capture that ILS is to make sure that our source on here is set to nav and not GPS, because if we are on GPS, it is not going to capture the localizer. But I'm going to do that after we hit Happily. Okay, so that looks good. I think we are fully configured, I would say, as far as I can imagine. LA Center, November 764 Lima Mike, we are ready for descent.
November 764 Lima Mike, descend and maintain 7,900, altimeter 3036, expect runway 3.
Descend and maintain 7,900, November 764 Lima Mike.
November 764 Lima Mike, altimeter 3036, expect the visual approach runway 3.
Altimeter 3036, expect the visual approach runway 3, November 764 Lima Mike.
Okay, so there we are, and we will also set our vertical speed to somewhere around 1,000 feet per minute, negative 1,000 feet per minute, and altitude set to 7,900, and let's go ahead and start descending here so that we are on plan. So as you saw what I just did, I just changed ourselves to the VS mode. That will put us on a nice 1,000 feet per minute descent, and we will also finish up our descent checklist. We should have done it actually before hitting that VS, but for now it's fine. So For descent checklist, we will have our cowl flaps closed. Throttle will be reduced to make sure that we are not hitting the speed limits here. As you can see, we are already almost about to hit that yellow arc. So we're going to reduce the throttle. Okay, so the clearance that we have got here is that we're going to leave comms at 030 and then we directly go to GCN, which is pretty much how we have planned. So there's nothing to change here in terms of plan. Okay, speed is looking good. We are still descending at 1,000 feet per minute, so that is looking good as well. Let's make sure we finished the checklist here. Descent checklist: throttle reduced, mixture we will keep enriching the mixture as we go, and we'll keep monitoring the engine performance as well. Approach checklist: seats and seat belts are all fastened, oxygen is off, we know that, fuel selector is set to both, fuel pump on, go ahead turn it on, landing lights on, air conditioning off, we're going to turn that off. We actually left it off, interesting. Okay, we actually left it off, but we didn't need it at this altitude, so it's totally fine. Cowl flaps as required. I think we are good on that right now. Remember, cowl flaps are to cool the engine, and we don't want to cool the engine as we are descending because there's a lot of airflow going in, so it's better to leave it closed right now. Okay, mixture max power, flaps 20 degrees and airspeed to 80 knots. We will do that as we get closer to the airport here. And we are just about stabilized at 7,900, and as we get closer to comms, what I'm gonna do is change our source to nav so that we can start capturing the ILS here. But I can tell you this was a very satisfying full flight. I'm gonna give it a little bit throttle because I don't want to slow down too much here. Right heading 025 vectors for the approach for November 764 Lima Mike.
November 764 Lima Mike, airport is at your 12 o'clock, 14 miles. Report the field in sight.
We have the field in sight, November 764 Lima Mike.
November 764 Lima Mike, cleared visual approach runway 3.
Cleared visual approach runway 3 for 764 Lima Mike. Okay, so I think it is time to change this to nav, and let's see if we get captured. The dots will illuminate on the left side if you are on the right of the ILS. So you will see that now it has already armed approach on its own, so that's what it's gonna do. You don't have a separate approach button here. As soon as you change it to nav and you have a frequency fed in, it's going to automatically arm approach. So we have captured the localizer, but you will see that we are below the glide slope here, which is why all the dots above the green dot are getting illuminated. So we will soon be capturing the glide slope as well. By the way, the airport is right there that we just reported. Let's go ahead and finish the rest of the landing checklist that we had here. So prop is going to high RPM, mixture for max power. Let's see if we enrich in it, are we getting any more power out of this thing? Yes, we are. 177, that's full mixture, so that looks good. We will decrease our power settings so that we don't speed up too much on the approach here. Our landing speed is going to be 71 knots. Well, yeah, our landing speed will be a little bit less than 71, but our approach speed is going to be 71 knots, and we will get the flaps down as we go. I think the approach and the landing checklist are complete except the flaps and landing gear. I'm going to get the cabin vent on because it's quite hot in the cabin here. 16, oh actually no, 16 degrees, not bad. Okay, so now you will see that we have captured the glide slope as well. All the dots above are gone. Over to tower 119.0 for 764 Lima Mike. Canyon Tower November 764 Lima Mike on finals runway 03.
November 764 Lima Mike, Canyon Tower, wind 030 at 3, runway 3 clear to land.
Runway 3 clear to land for November 764 Lima Mike. Okay, we have clearance to land, so let's just start dumping flaps here. I know we are a little bit quicker than we should have been, but getting the landing gear down should slow us down quite good. Right, landing gears down. Let's get one notch of flaps in, and we should be now able to idle without having to listen to the gear horn. So remember, this airplane, you really don't need to worry about being too fast, because it is going to slow down pretty quick. So there's 2 notches of flap, and there is 3 notches of flap, and let's get rid of autopilot, my controls, and let's give it some throttle so that we keep it at that 71 knots. Okay, we are somewhere around 75 touching 80, doing pretty good here, not bad at all. Remember, we are running a little bit low on the glide slope, but I'm not sure if I should trust the localizer here, so I'm just gonna go by visual here. Do feel like I'm a little bit lower, so let's just control that descent rate a little bit, going higher on the throttle just to maintain that speed, kind of doing a descending so slow flight. If you guys have trained in real world, you would know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's back off on the throttle here, and runway is made, so slowly fully back off on the throttle, keep pulling up, 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 and there you go. This airplane behaves amazing in the flare.
November 764 Lima Mike, exit right at Foxtrot.
Absolutely stunning. Exit right at Foxtrot for November 764 Lima Mike. Absolutely stunning airplane.
November 764 Lima Mike, contact ground 121.9er.
121.9 for November 764 Lima Mike. We are all good, and we are also out of the way. So let's do our after landing checklist. 900 RPM on the throttle. Let's get the flaps up. There you go, flaps are coming up. Cowl flaps can go full open. Fuel pump can be turned off, and we don't need the strobe lights anymore. And air conditioning as desired, I'm gonna turn it, I think it's fine. 18 degrees, pretty good today. Let's just get the windows open so that we have some air coming in, and that is it. Let's go ahead and taxi to our parking spot here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our shutdown and securing checklist. That was such a cool flight. By the way, guys, I would really appreciate if you guys can leave a like I said before. It really helps the channel. So parking brakes are set. Avionics, we can turn it off. Electrical equipment. So everything except the nav lights and landing lights can come off. Alternator is already off. The secondary alternator is already good. Electrical trim can come off as well. Throttle closed. Prop is set to high RPM. Mixture will go cut off. Magnetos you'll get the keys up here. Alternator off. Battery master off. And we will also install the control lock, which is right here. And then one of the last things that we will do is put our pitot cover on. We can also put the wheel chokes on, and we will protect our engine from any kind of nest buildup by putting on the engine cover as well. Thank you again for tuning in, and have an absolutely amazing day. Make sure you join our Discord as well. We have a lot of fun conversations going on our Discord, and I will see you guys on the next one.